The Indianapolis Colts selected Anthony Richardson number 4 overall in this past year's NFL draft, finally investing in that young rookie quarterback, no longer going down that veteran route after Andrew Luck left back in 2018, starting with Jacoby Brissett, Phillip Rivers, Carson Wentz, and Matt Ryan. You were never going to win a Super Bowl with those guys, despite having a pretty good roster for several years up until last year. And the Colts had moderate success with Rivers, Wentz, really with the exception of Matt Ryan in this past year. But this organization did the right thing, said we need a young quarterback. It's no longer about winning now. We have to build into the future. From a process perspective, I appreciate what the Colts did. Now, whether Anthony Richardson pans out or not has yet to be seen. From a prospect evaluation side, I like Richardson. I don't think he's some A prospect. I don't know if I would have taken him number 4 overall. I had similar grades between him and Will Levis. I think Richardson was a pretty big step down from Bryce Young and CJ Stroud. He was in that next tier of quarterbacks. Would I have taken him or Levis? I'm not sure, and I think if the Colts went with either of those guys, I would have similar feelings about it. But they went with the higher upside guy, Anthony Richardson, who just on a size level is unlike any player we've ever seen at the quarterback position. He's 6'4", 232 pounds. He is so electric. He's so fast. I like him for those reasons. I like him from a physical standpoint. On the field, there are definitely your mix of positives and negatives. I mean, from a positive perspective, I really, really like his release. I really like his ability to throw deep. Last season at Florida, Anthony Richardson had a 93.1 deep PFF passing grade, which is really, really good. His average depth of target is 11.5 yards, which probably explains his low completion percentage at just 53%. So if you look at his numbers, you're not going to be wowed. 17 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, again, 53% completion percentage, 84.3 passer rating. It's not great, and I get it, but there are reasons to like Richardson. Again, he has that crazy rocket arm. He's not afraid to throw deep. He has a good release. There are negatives. I don't think he's a very polished passer, and it's not just because of the numbers. If you watch the film, I think you'll come away with the same conclusion. How well does he work through reads? I don't know. The guy's only 21 years old. I don't know many college prospects that have good processors at 21 years old. I also think a lot of his issues could be a product of the Florida system. I mean, he's throwing deep constantly. That's what Florida likes to run. So it just has yet to be seen whether he's going to be a good passer. But from a college evaluation perspective, I think there's a lot to be desired. But the one thing I will say is he has that quarterback run game multiplier, which elevates the floor of what Richardson is going to be. And I would look at a guy like Justin Fields. We have literally no idea what Justin Fields is as a passer. I'm sure that we'll find out this year, but last year he has no weapons. They're on a terrible team. He doesn't look good as a passer, but you just don't know because he doesn't have any help around him. But the thing keeping Justin Fields in the Bears' starting role is his run game ability. Just compare Zach Wilson versus Justin Fields as a passer. There's probably not some huge gap, but the reason why the Jets moved on so quickly from Zach Wilson is because throwing is his only asset. He's not the athlete, the runner that Justin Fields is. Fields has that ability as a runner. So does Richardson. You're going to get a baseline, floor, solid play from Anthony Richardson, whether he's a good passer or not, because he's so gifted athletically as a runner. The main purpose of this video, however, has more to do with Anthony Richardson and whether he should start on day one or not, because it's very common in NFL media and around the NFL. Basically, everybody has the opinion that Anthony Richardson has to sit on day one before he starts because he's not ready yet. And I'll be honest, when I made my NFL quarterback draft grades a couple months ago, I read that same line. I said I probably wouldn't start him on day one. But the more that I think about it, I think I was kind of sucked into that opinion because everybody else around me had it. And the more I think about it, Anthony Richardson needs to start on day one. I can't remember exactly who said the quote, but somebody in NFL media said it, and it was along the lines of the worst place to be in the NFL is not missing on a quarterback in the first round or number one overall. The worst place is missing on that high quarterback and sticking with him for the duration of his rookie contract. So see Jamarcus Russell or like Zach Wilson or Mitchell Trubisky. You can be fine if you miss on that guy. It's not the end of the world if you draft Zach Wilson, But it's the end of the world if you're the Jets and draft Zach Wilson and then you stick with him for 4 years. You can tell whether a quarterback is good or not after about 20 to 35 starts, I would say. And there are exceptions. I mean, Geno Smith is a good one. He broke out in like year 12. You can look at, a long time ago with Terry Bradshaw. You can look at more recently with Josh Allen with his year 3 breakout. There are definitely exceptions. But I would say as a general rule, if your quarterback is not a good passer after about 35 starts, there's no reason to hang on with him. And with the Zach Wilson example, yeah, we all know he's not a good quarterback. We all know that. So there's no reason to hang on to them. While Anthony Richardson may not be a great quarterback in year 1, you better find out whether he's a good quarterback or not in year 2. And the issue with the sit and wait strategy is if you're in a position like the San Francisco 49ers who took Trey Lance, had him sit for a year, and then he started in year 2, do we know anything about Trey Lance? The guy barely played in college. He sat in year 1. He plays in year 2 for 3 games, looks pretty bad in all of them, and then he gets injured. And yeah, you can't always predict the injuries, but injuries are part of the NFL. And the earlier you can figure out whether your quarterback's a franchise guy or not, the better off you are going to be. Richardson has some abilities that I think can translate on day 1. I mean, I like his pocket ability. He does not have bad pocket sense, which I think for a rookie is the downfall of many of them. They just can't sense pressure. They can't evade pressure. Richardson has that ability, and he's really athletic, so he can escape from the pocket. He's not a pocket passer that has to have a good offensive line in front of him. The Colts also have a really good offensive mind that head coach with Frank Reich. I understand if you're afraid of Anthony Richardson developing bad tendencies. I totally get it. But if you wait too long to figure out whether he's the guy or not, you are going to be in purgatory, which is the worst place to be in the NFL. And also, just because he starts in year 1, it doesn't mean you have to take everything away. I'm not saying if he's bad in year 1, move on. I think you should give the guy about 2 years. It's also interesting because the Colts signed Gardner Minshew in free agency. Minshew's okay. He's fine. He's a top 40 quarterback in the NFL. He'll exist in the Colts system. But you also know for a fact you're not going anywhere with Gardner Minshew. You're just sitting and waiting and buying time for Richardson. Now, I'm not in the Colts organization. I'm not there at practice every day. If he's really that bad and you know that he's going to just suck in year 1, okay, I get it. It's fine. But hell, you drafted this guy number 4 overall. How long are you going to wait? I mean, I get, maybe sit him for the first 3 weeks, but what's he going to learn in those 3 weeks that he can't learn by just playing? I don't really understand that. So overall, I like the Anthony Richardson pick. I think there are definitely some positives in his game. He's got a really, really good floor just because of his athleticism. I think with the right coaching and the right system, which he'll have in Indianapolis, he can eventually become a really good NFL quarterback. I just struggle to understand the opinion that he should sit and wait. There are potentially some positives there. I mean, look at a guy like Patrick Mahomes, but that's quite rare. And I think if Mahomes would have started in year 1, it wouldn't have been a disaster anyway, even though he was viewed as a project quarterback. So I don't necessarily view Richardson as a project. I think he should start on day 1, learn what you have, learn the earlier the better. So definitely let me know what you think down in the comment section below. I would love to hear all of your opinions. Like and subscribe is the easiest way to support the channel, and I will see you all in the next video.